Welcome to another exciting edition of American Warrior Radio, the place to be for news, notes, interviews, and current events for all issues military and veteran related. If you or someone you know has ever worn the uniform of the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, or National Guard, or Reserves, you've come to the right place. American Warrior Radio, right here on the Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL, and online worldwide at 1060WMEL.com, sponsored by AVET Project. Folks, this program is all about supporting our troops and their families, both past and present. So please get comfortable, grab a nice cold beverage. I know it's hot out there, but don't forget a pen and paper to jot down a note or two, because we're always efforting to bring you important information that you can use and share with others. With that said, let's roll down the runway and get this show off the ground. You all know me. I'm Garen Cohn. I'm a Air Force veteran, retired legal advocate for veterans, and founder of AVET Project. And I am glad to have back in studio live with me today my co-host. I never hit the airwaves alone. So Glenn, welcome back.
Well, thank you, and good morning. No, good afternoon. Sorry about that. I'm Glenn McGuffey, if you are a new listener, and I'm retired Air Force, and I'm retired manager of the Brevard County Veteran Services team, where it was my honor to help our veterans and eligible dependents gain VA benefits earned by the service to our great nation by the veteran. And I did that for a little over 22 years, and that was a couple of years ago. So I continue to help our veterans, and so I've been doing that for a total of over 24 years now.
Thank you for your service, Glenn, and your continuing service.
You're welcome. And I work out of American Legion Post 200 in Satellite Beach.
Big salute to those guys and gals.
And you can get a hold of me at Glenn, that's GLENN, at AVET Project, AVETPROJECT, all together, .org.
And that's if somebody needs help with some sort of a claim issue with the VA or some benefit, they can contact you via email and you'll help them out?
Yeah, I'll either help you by email, I'll help you put your phone number in there, and I'll try and help you by phone, or we'll set up an appointment at the American Legion, have graciously given me space and equipment and everything I need to perform the proper job to help you folks out. And
as an accredited representative.
Yeah, I was just going to say that as we always say, don't just get anybody to help you, and the worst person you can have to help you is yourself.
To navigate the VA, you really have to have experience, and hands-on experience, not just somebody that just started, but you need an accredited representative. Glenn, what about our listeners in Nebraska or Ohio? Because we've got listeners all over the United States. Outside of the Space Coast, they maybe can't make it to American Legion Post 200 at 105 Ocean Boulevard here in Satellite Beach, just south of Patrick Air Force Base. Can they still contact you if they live out of state?
Oh, absolutely. That's a good point. You can still contact me both by a return email and include your phone number, and I'll contact you and steer you in the right direction. I may not be able to personally help with your claim. I may be able to help. It depends on the issue, but I will help.
And even our listeners from Korea to Afghanistan, you've fielded emails from them and be able to offer assistance.
Oh, absolutely. So, in this day and age of electronics and technical doodah and all that stuff, you just need to contact me.
Okay, so we got a couple announcements here. We've got some really special guests in studio that I'm anxious to get to because you're going to love them. I just have to mention that IAP, which is a defense contractor that's locally operated out of Cape Canaveral, they are conducting their second annual Represent 321. It's a 5K community run and walk, and they say it's a family affair. I got to tell you, last year's was phenomenal, but we want to encourage everybody, whether you are a walker or a runner, whether you're competitive or just a journeyman, I don't know, if you're interested in coming out and helping support the IAP 5K, there's applications online. You can go to avetproject.org, click on the Facebook icon, all the updates. You'll see how busy we are. Don't forget that American Warrior Radio has its own Facebook page, so check that out with regular updates. All of our episodes, thanks to our producer, are videotaped and rebroadcast and uploaded to the social media platforms, so look for that too. But I want to encourage you, if you are a walker or a runner, or you just want to come out and support, please do so. It's easy, okay? Just go to the IAP website, or better yet, go to avetproject.org. The proceeds are going to help AVET Project conduct our PR&R retreats for returning combat vets, and also a portion of them are going to the Brevard Schools Foundation. Both great charities, right, Glenn?
Oh, absolutely. And when is this thing again?
This is coming up in November, all right? It's November 12th, so you got time to save it on your calendar. It's right there in Satellite Beach at Pelican Coast. I'll give you the web address. Remember, I asked you to grab your pen and paper. iapws.com/5K. iapws.com/5K, or like I said, go to avetproject.org, click on the Facebook icon, and you're there. Or don't forget American Warrior Radio. And you know, we do Benefits for Veterans is up on social media, as well as Boaz and Koa, AVET Project Service Dogs /Surf Dog Champions.
Yeah, they are cool. I've watched them surf before, and they're much better than Garen.
Well, they really are. There are Chihuahuas. They're diabetic alert dogs, and they surf. They're amazing animals. Check out their Facebook page. Okay, enough said. We have a huge event coming up. It's just 2 weeks away now, 2 weeks and a day. It is on Sunday, September 11th. That's 9/11. It's called the Patriot Day Brunch. And the neat thing about this, and this is what we're all celebrating, is that for 15 years now, aside from the tragedies that were Orlando and Fort Hood and other places throughout the country with these terrorists, aside from those horrific tragedies, we have not had a mass tragedy, a mass terrorist attack, Glenn.
I know, and that is totally wonderful. And this event, of course, is dedicated to 9/11, the original 9/11, where we lost over a couple thousand people in the terrorist attack on the World Trade Center, both buildings in New York. And it's going to be all you can eat, so those who love to eat, come on out.
Honestly, it's going to be a wonderful event. You know, I got to backtrack for just a minute, because my good friends at SCMA, I can't forget these guys, Space Coast Motorcycle Alliance. It's a new organization that's helping not just AVET Project, but other nonprofits in the neighborhood here, particularly with the Bike Fest, the toy run coming up in December. I want to encourage all my listeners, whether you are an avid motorcyclist or you drive a car, whatever, go to scma.com and sign up and become a member of this vibrant new organization that's going to continue the tradition that ABATE had for 30 plus years in getting toys for girls and boys during the holidays. Check it out, scma.com. Okay, back to this. You were mentioning Patriot Day. All right, 15 years without a mass tragedy. We are celebrating that. I know there's ceremonies going on during that time period, that weekend, because this is a Sunday brunch. It's a Sunday brunch. Starts at 10 a.m. at the Cocoa Beach Country Club right off Minuteman Causeway. Again, you want to find out the details. It's easy. avetproject.org. Click on the Facebook icon. You can order tickets there as well. But we are celebrating the fact that both the police, the fire, EMS, and obviously our military have upped their game, and we haven't had one of those mass tragedies, Glenn.
I know, and that is so wonderful, and I think people just don't have an idea of how much behind-the-scenes work is going on and intelligence gathering and acting on the intelligence to keep it that way, so we don't have another mass tragedy like the original 9/11 was.
Exactly. So we're going to celebrate that. We've got a wonderful program. The brunch begins at 10 a.m. The program starts at 11, goes till noon, and people will be able to linger about and look at how they can support AVET Project after that till 1 o'clock. It's a great event. You don't want to miss that. Well, in studio with us right now is some wonderful people that are supporting AVET Project's Patriot Day Brunch. It's none other than Jamie Capriotti and Mariola Rodriguez from Market Street Memory Care. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
I have to say good afternoon. Sorry, I'm in the tune of trying to make sure that the show goes off at 11, but we're at 3 right now. So good afternoon. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
We couldn't be more excited. Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit. First of all, before we get into Market Street, you both have a family tradition of service in the military. Tell us a little bit about that.
We do. My father is actually Air Force Reserve until 9/11, and then served in active duty, several tours in both Iraq and Afghanistan, and recently retired. He was actually out of here, Patrick's Air Force Base, so we are local to this area.
Well, fantastic. And you're a military brat. Let's just say it. I mean, you experienced it. People in general may not understand how many sacrifices the family members make of our military as they get deployed or whatever they're doing. Some of them are unaccompanied tours, Glenn, overseas where the family can't come. So you experienced it firsthand.
Absolutely. I was still in high school when my father was deployed for the first time, so he missed high school graduation, starting college, my years in college, so it was definitely a sacrifice, but we appreciated every time he came back home to spend as much time as we could with him.
And those are some great examples. For you listeners out there, I don't care whether you're in Washington State or Texas or overseas. If you're overseas, you're probably listening because you're a military member, and God bless you. Stay safe. But listen, folks, if you're not familiar with the military and how the family sacrifice, Mariola just told you that it goes deep. This isn't just the military member going overseas and fighting our battles and keeping the horrific terrorists away from our shores, but the family back here sacrifices. Missed your graduation, missed your start of college. Those are, keystone events in a person's life, and he wasn't able to make. I'm sure he wanted to, but he couldn't because he was out defending our country.
Right, and he was very, very proud to do so.
Excellent. What about you, Jamie? You've got some history in your family.
I do. I was actually blessed to have two wonderful men in my life that were fathers. My father was Navy, and my brother did follow in his footsteps, and then my stepfather was Coast Guard. So.
Outstanding, outstanding. And the neat thing about that is it gives you an appreciation on several different levels. Your sibling was in, your father was in, your stepfather was in. What do they say about their military service?
They feel extremely blessed to be able to serve their country, and, we're just a patriotic family. We're always celebrating the fact that we live here in America. We couldn't be more happy about that, and it's wonderful.
It is, and I have to say, I had the pleasure of meeting you, I don't think it was the first time, but a Flag Day ceremony that AVET Project held for Flag Day at Uno Pizzeria. That was a real pleasure to meet you there. And you're so kind. I believe it was you that paid for the fireman's lunch that day. So
I did.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Absolutely.
And the video is still up there, folks, if you want to see that particular episode of how AVET Project gets involved in the community and we celebrate things and bring, police, fire, military, everybody together, because this country is so incredibly unique. Am I right, Glenn?
Oh, absolutely. And, remember that the military people in our country come from the top 1% of our youth. They start off young and then they end up old like me.
But less than 1% of our population has ever served in the military. That's the point you're making, right?
Yeah, and also they're the cream de la cream of the America's youth, especially nowadays that we don't have a draft anymore. So
that's a fact, Jack. Well, I want to tell everybody that the updated flyer for Patriot Day Brunch is online, and you'll be able to view all of our wonderful sponsors, people that are helping us put this event on. But thank you to Market Street Memory Care, which you both ladies are employed by and do a phenomenal job, for coming on as a patron-level sponsor of this event. Tell us a little bit. I know there's an article in Viera Voice, which is a beautiful full-page ad. Tell us a little bit about Market Street.
Well, Market Street is a community that's completely dedicated to memory care. We're located right in Viera, next to the Indian River Colony Club. Love our location, love our vets, and we are focused on individualized programming and sensory therapy to reignite the human spirit through the senses.
Okay, what makes you different from some other assisted living facility?
Our programming is the #1 thing that makes us different from everywhere else. How we focus, the routine that we set up for our residents, how customized it is to everybody that we have, and also our people. The people employed by Watercrest Senior Living Group to be part of this community are the absolute best. Everyone has a passion, heart, wants to serve this specialized population.
Very good. Tell me how somebody would qualify to be a resident at Market Street Memory Care.
Well, we have a clinical staff that would go out and meet with the family and the resident, and we would do a health assessment of that resident to make sure that we are the absolute right community for them.
And if we're not, to find resources out for perhaps someone that is. So we're not turning anyone away. We can always offer some kind of resource out there.
Do you have some kind of medical assistance in doing that? Do you have a doctor also review these people? And
Yeah, so the evaluation has two parts. One is a nurse and myself as memory care director coming out. The other is an evaluation completed by a physician. But really what we're looking at is, it is a secured environment, so when safety's been compromised...
Hold on, what's that mean, secured environment?
A secured environment means it's that kind of older lockdown type unit, but updated. So it's a safe environment for these individuals. And
are we talking about people that are suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that would be a harm to themselves if they got out?
yes, but not exclusively. There are traumatic brain injuries and other kind of cognitive decline that would actually do remarkably well in this environment. So we don't want to exclude it to just an Alzheimer's or dementia diagnosis.
And when you talk about sort of a lockdown scenario, do you still take them out on trips and those kind of things?
Oh, absolutely. We could not do what we do without the help of volunteers coming in to support our programming, and we take trips out on a weekly basis. I feel like that is so important. It makes a difference when someone's coming in and transitioning to still go out to lunch and go to the movies and go bowling and go home for a weekend and spend the weekend at home with families.
And you know, lockdown is a very old school term. We like to say a secure community. That basically just means that there is a safety implement that is involved. We have our community designed to actually look like these guys are in a park-like setting. Market Plaza, we call it, is in the center of two neighborhoods that have 30 apartments each. And Market Plaza has everything from a bakery and a salon, a full functioning post office, to a park-like setting with a tree, and the sky, our ceiling is an actual sky, and we can implement that sensory therapy that I spoke of earlier with nature sounds and temperature and lighting, and we can really bring the outside world into these residents.
Well, I really appreciate y'all clarifying that. I asked that question with the intent to let our listeners know this is not jail, and they're not using my term lockdown.
Secured community.
It's a secured community, and that's for the patient's benefit. And you know, they're taking them out and showing them the community and movies and all
field
kinds
trips.
of field trips.
Yes.
Field trips. There's a word.
Yeah, it comes down to quality of life and dignity.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Oh, those are primary. They have to be as we age. What are the ages? What kind of age range do you have, or do you expect? I know you're still accepting new patients, new clients. Are we call them patients or clients?
Residents.
Residents. I like that. Even better.
This is home. Market Street is home.
Excellent.
Absolutely. So that really varies depending on the need in the community. It's typical to have anyone from in their 60s all the way to their hundreds. We really don't turn anyone away based on age, but we do want to make sure it's the appropriate environment for someone. So someone comes to us 40 years old, we evaluate what we have, the program we have, and if it's not what they need, then we find help for them.
Outstanding. Again, we're talking with Jamie Capriotti and Mariola Rodriguez from Market Street Memory Care Residents. The ad I mentioned, if you can still look at it, folks, you can. We just uploaded it here into the cybersphere, but you're on Morrell Road here in Viera. For people that are here within Central Florida, obviously you can draw people from all over. It wouldn't matter. You have another facility in Tampa.
Not quite yet, but we are breaking ground in Tampa. Currently, right now, we have communities in Lake Nona, Sebastian, and Jacksonville.
Oh, wow, that's impressive. Okay, but this one, we're talking about this one right here because it's near and dear to us. Can somebody that may be interested come and take a tour? How do they get involved?
Absolutely. They are welcome to come into our sales office currently located on Spyglass Hill Road at One Senior Place, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners are familiar with.
For
and
sure.
Then, of course, you can always call us at 321-417-1158.
Say that number one more time in case somebody slipped there with their pen.
321-417-1158. You'll reach me, Jamie, directly at that number, and I'd be more than happy to tell you more about Market Street and take you through the community.
And what are the positions that you serve at Market Street again?
I am
Jamie?
the Community Relations Director.
Excellent.
And
Mariola?
I am the Memory Care Director.
Okay, Memory Care Director. Now, Glenn, you and I deal with on a daily basis our war fighters that have suffered traumatic brain injury.
Correct.
And that's where their head, whether they were near a concussive blast or what have you, they've lost some of their cognition. They've lost their ability in just to think clearly. Okay, I don't understand all. That's why we have Dr. Fairchild coming up with the second segment with his Heal the Warrior, Heal the Country. And we've got a special guest there, too, so it's going to be very exciting. What about that? How many of your residents, as you experience this, have that type of issue of traumatic brain injury?
Yeah, it's actually becoming more and more popular, I find. The majority of our residents will have some kind of Alzheimer's or dementia diagnosis. Some will show symptoms but not have a diagnosis, but sending them to the right referral sources, we can pinpoint a diagnosis. But we are seeing traumatic brain injuries more.
Okay, and let me ask this, because everybody out there is wondering, how much does it cost? Is this going to drain my savings? Do I have to exhaust all of my savings and go on Medicaid to get enrolled? How does that work?
Well, we are an all-inclusive community, and what that means is in memory care, we find that there are so many different levels of care, and that really you can't really pinpoint that because it's so individualized. So we have decided to just place our pricing that would include everything from their apartment, their housekeeping and meals, all the way through to any products that they need. We're priced right around $6,100 a month.
Okay, and that's, you mentioned residents. This isn't, I don't want to even say apartment, because you look at the ad, you can see it really is, you've made it into a town, into some place where they can feel that they're a part of the community.
Absolutely. This is a private studio apartment with a private bath.
And all their meals, everything's taken care of for
Everything.
them.
Programming, everything's included in that. Care.
What about a website, ladies? How can they find out about you?
Well, they can go to www.marketstreetresidence.com.
That's easy enough. Say it one more time.
www.marketstreetresidence.com.
Okay, we've got like 30 seconds left here. I want to thank both of you for taking the time on this Saturday afternoon to join us and get this information out, because Glenn, you and I both know there's tons of vets out there. This is an aging veteran population, and this is going to become more important.
Yeah, and let me throw in real quick that you may be able, depending on how much money you have in the bank and how much you make in retirement, if that's the case, you may be able to get help from the VA financially through the non-service connected pension program.
And through aid and attendance, good point.
Yep, and we'll talk about that in depth on a future show for you.
For sure. Well, again, Jamie, Mariola, thank you so much, and thank you for helping AVET Project help our troops through the Patriot Day Brunch sponsorship, and we will see you there on Sunday, September 11th. Thanks again, ladies.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Don't go anywhere, because American Warrior Radio is going to be right back with Heal the Warrior, Heal the Country with Dr. Scott Fairchild and his special guest.